Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Straw Hat Brian. Hope you guys are ready to set sail on my review of One Piece Chapter 878. If you haven't read it, I suggest you do so now. Spoilers will be lurking in the video, and without anything else left to say, let's just get right into the content. So, this chapter, man, was really good. We got to see the cover page. We start off with the cover page. We got to see in the cover page. We had the Straw Hats enjoying their time. They're eating watermelon. It's like a hot day, and they basically seem like they're in the countryside of a Japanese old styled home, and just basically just hitting all the the Japanese culture tropes. Just they're eating watermelons. There's sunflowers in the background. You got Frankie like with a butt catching net, so it's like, and you got all the Straw Hats kind of doing their own thing, but they're all still enjoying each other's company. So I think in that cover page though, there's a lot of symbolism for the Wano arc that is coming up. I don't know what it is yet. I gotta relook at it and see. Maybe I could probably come up with my own theories, but honestly, I think there's something in there. It sticks out. I don't know what it is yet, but something in there, in that cover page, is foreshadowing what is to come in the Wano country arc. So, yeah, I'm really excited about that. It's a great cover page, honestly. I just love the art. I love when Oda does like the colored cover pages, because it's always like the Straw Hats just doing something really chill, and then the art is always amazing. The color is always bright and just amazing. So I love that. But with the actual chapter itself, it starts off with Pedro. It's a flashback of Pedro, and right after he basically is losing his lifespan, his 50 years lifespan to Big Mom. She's soul stealing. And what I kind of noticed was, it's like a thought bubble. So I don't know if it's the Bicorn or someone using telepathy to communicate with Big Mom, but they're saying, this one is worthy, this one is a man, indeed, and basically tells. So I'm wondering, like, did maybe Big Mom like steal Roger's lifespan? And could it be like maybe Roger really wasn't sick, or maybe he was sick, but maybe like this also sped up his like life? You know what I mean? Maybe like Big Mom took 20 years, 30 years, and that shortened his life, so he really realized that whatever his mission was, he couldn't finish it. Or maybe if he could have used Big Mom to use his ability to give him life. I mean, I don't know. I'm wondering, can Big Mom's soul stealing ability, can it prevent death if you're sick? Like, can Big Mom, like how Ivankov's ability, where Ivankov is basically able to use hormones to basically heal you? I'm kind of wondering, and basically to kind of like stop poison to a degree. So I'm wondering if that is also something similar with Big Mom's abilities. So that is something curious to see. But again, back to what actually happened in the chapter. So, I don't know who was talking to Big Mom, but basically told Big Mom, this person is worthy of letting to live, basically. This person is worthy of you letting go. So, just let this person live. And what happens next is, Pedro's being escorted back to Zoe via Perospero ship along with Tamago, and Perospero is basically, he asks Pedro how old he was then. So it gave us Oda gave us some insight. Pedro was 27 when Big Mom stole 50 years of his lifespan. So Perospero corrects Pedro, being the character that he is, being a cocky and just being just a jerk in general, is like, well, you mean you're 77 years old? And he said, and I wonder how many years do you actually have left? So, and then Pedro, said something cool. He said, at least, I'll be able to choose where I'm gonna die. So, Pedro with the good comeback, and then Perospero begins to talk about the name of Pedro's crew, which was the Nox Pirates, and he says, so Nox, does that refer to the night? And then, Pedro, has a flashback of, his time with Roger. And then basically it just goes and shows, Pedro being like the young, being just the young soldier that he was at that time, so willing and so loyal. We actually got to see Pedro interacting with Odin and Roger, and he's saying, he's like, let me go with you guys, let me be your bodyguard, Odin. And then Roger is like, no, you have to stay here and you have to stand by on guard. And then he goes to say, listen up, I don't have much time left. He said, but don't worry, everyone sooner or later gets their time to shine. So that might be Oda talking to us, the readers, directly, and telling us, hey, just be patient. Whatever you guys are waiting for, I got you. If you're waiting for this character to be shown, your favorite character, for this specific thing to be explained, Oda was basically telling us, hey, don't worry, I got you guys. Just be patient. But as for the actual story content itself, again, it's like Roger basically explaining to Pedro, everyone has a role. And maybe Roger felt like, whatever Roger knew, I feel like Roger was playing his role. I feel like maybe like there is a little more to how Pedro feels like Luffy is the dawn, the start of the new era, the dawn after the darkness. And that's basically what Pedro tells Perospero is, one could think of Nox Pirates, or Nox meaning an endless night, but to him it was, the darkness before the dawn. So that was really cool. That was powerful and very inspirational. And yeah, I'm hoping Pedro is dead, only because that being so epic and that being feeling like, man, like this guy is really sticking his head out and really feeling like he has a role that he must play within the grand scheme of everything. And that's what he wants to be. And I think that's really cool. But on to the next thing. The explosion itself was strong enough to temporarily halt Big Mom's movements. Now, this kind of just shows like if there is something strong enough, or something like a bomb, some kind of bomb that is like with enough blast radius, enough force, enough PSI or whatever pressure behind it, you can temporarily halt Big Mom. Something that I'm surprised that even the rocket launchers didn't do. So, just to see that, I'm thinking like, maybe like you really do have to hit Big Mom with some really big hits. Like you can't just attack Big Mom with like half-assed, techniques. You're gonna really have to come at Big Mom like as if your life really depended on it. And that just goes to show how strong Big Mom's defense skills are. Like, and we still don't really know why she is that like an iron balloon. Like, why is she that strong? But it seems like all of her kids are that strong, because Perospero lived, and it was just amazing, because it's like, wow, I thought he was dead. He lost a limb, but I thought he was dead. But that was really great. But it's just, just really cool just seeing that. And then, everybody's reaction to Pedro basically sacrificing himself, and we got to see all the Straw Hats' reactions. And we also got to see in the flashback of how close Pedro and Carrot are. And now I'm really wondering, is there going to be more to this flashback? Because I'm still curious about what is Pedro and Peckham's relationships, due to the fact that when Pedro asked Nekomamushi to accompany the Straw Hats and Peckham's to Whole Cake, he said that he was the only one who could keep Peckham's in check. But we haven't seen really much of Peckham's since this arc has started. So I'm wondering, like, what did any of that mean? So I'm thinking there's more to this flashback, than we're getting. And Perospero, for being cocky, but also he's proved that he survived the bomb, dude. Like, he can say that. Like, yeah, I'm not as durable as Big Mom, but I survived the bomb. I lost an arm. And he said, you know, the bomb got past his candy defense. So I'm guessing like Cracker had a cracker or breaded defense because he had the breadfruit or something like that. It's amazing to see like kind of like, you know, the hardening abilities and how like those abilities are defeatable to a certain degree, or they can be managed, like, you know, like, and you can do really quirky things with them. So like, that's really cool. But next thing was like, I feel like when Luffy took command though, that was a great moment in the chapter where Luffy just kind of just told everybody like, listen everybody, he's like, if we let this very second that Pedro gave us go to waste, how can we ever face him again? So, you know, a lot of people are thinking maybe like, oh, so maybe from this line, maybe Pedro isn't dead. So from this line, maybe Pedro isn't dead. But maybe Luffy's kind of insinuating, if we die now, if we fail here, if we die, how can we face him, knowing he gave up his life for us? So I feel like now, like, because of that, I feel like now Luffy's like, he has a need to fight. Like, if he didn't need to fight, if Luffy did not need to fight at this very moment, Luffy realizes he needs to fight. And it is to take out Katakuri. Because he knows Katakuri. He understands that Katakuri has really great observation haki. Or maybe he doesn't. But maybe he probably, you know, because Luffy's natural instincts, maybe he just kind of does know. Because Luffy kind of knew when Mihawk was going to slash and Luffy kind of saw how he was going to die and Luffy dodged that attack. I think that might be a similar thing. But just, you know, seeing that and then seeing, like, you know, the Straw Hats, like, listening to Luffy, and then they do a coup de burst and they blast off away from Big Mom. And then, you know, we see Big Mom gets temporarily knocked out again. So I think that's another interesting observation, that Big Mom can be knocked out. So it's like she can be halted temporarily. There are ways. It just has to be strong enough. That's what I'm believing. From this chapter, that's what I'm believing. You know, we did get to see a little bit of Carrot trying to take on Katakuri. That obviously got stopped. You know, she got handled pretty quickly. But to see what happened after that, when Luffy does Elephant Gun, but then when he punches Katakuri, you see Katakuri tries to use his Mochi defense, and then you see Luffy basically grabs him. So I'm wondering, did he figure out, like, he is a paramecia, and then Luffy figure out that his abilities are similar to Trouble, where it's like you have to, like, what if Parasparrow is really not that big? Like, what if it's like Cracker? Like, what if Parasparrow is like a small dude, but he uses his Mochi powers, his Mochi powers to basically lengthen and strengthen his body? Who knows? But from this, I'm thinking maybe, because then he says, I see, if you do that, I am powerless to do anything. So maybe all Luffy has to do is do Elephant Gun and just grab him, and maybe he could just slam him on the ground a few times and actually hurt the actual Katakuri. But, you know, that's left to be seen, because Katakuri has to be awakened, in my opinion. So I'm wondering how Luffy's going to deal with this. But from that moment, we just knew. Like, once Luffy just, he took Katakuri into the mirror world, smashed the mirror behind him so there was no way back to the Thousand Sunny. You got that sense, that feeling that, okay, Luffy he has to bet on everything right now. If there's any time that Luffy needed to fight, it is right now. And I'm getting that Saba Odi Archipelago feel, that Crocodile feel. I'm getting that like that Eneru feel, that especially that Rob Lucci feeling, like that hopelessness that Rob Lucci kind of gave us. Like, oh my God, is Luffy really gonna die by this cheetah dude who's a Zoan type Devil Fruit user? But man, this next chapter, 879, is going to be phenomenal, and I'm hoping that we really get to see Luffy. Maybe he's going to awaken his Devil Fruit abilities, but somehow something amazing is going to come from this fight with Katakuri. I said it, I called it in my last video, and I'm sticking to it. Luffy is going to grow after this fight with Dogtooth. I promise you guys. And without anything else to say, that was my review of One Piece chapter 878. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to rate this chapter a 4. Just because I know it's setting up for something amazing. I'm going to have to give this chapter a solid 4. that was amazing. That was a good read. I felt, I was like, I really felt like the excitement. So, tip my hats to Oda. This is Straw Hat Brian signing out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You guys have a wonderful evening.